Let's get straight to the point. Most people are egotistical and prideful. They believe they are right and the problem is not them but everyone else. They don't look at themselves deep enough to realize they have so many flaws within them. There's a perfect quote from the movie Matilda that sums this up nicely. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it. In my younger years, I always believed the world owed me something. I constantly put the blame on people and circumstances as opposed to looking at myself and correcting me. It was the easy thing to do. Instead of looking at my own insecurities and dealing with the pain, I shifted the blame so I don't have to feel bad about myself. This all changed when I realized I was not progressing forward in life. I was stagnant. Change needed to happen, and change is what happened. It was the biggest learning curve I went through, and I'm so glad I did. If you understand your ego is your biggest downfall to how your life turns out, everything about your life will change in an instant. You will never look at things in the same way. So in this video, I want to share 3 lessons I learned on why ego is your biggest enemy and what you can do to eradicate it. I will say this: when watching this video, be open-minded to what you are about to hear and don't let your ego get the best of you. The first lesson I learned is you will never grow. When I was living at home, I thought I knew how the world worked. In my mind, it was a pretty simple equation. Do what you're told, work hard, stay consistent, and good things will come to you. That was it. In that equation, there was ego sprinkled everywhere. If others did not do what I was doing, that means they were wrong. If others did not have the same views as me, that means they were wrong. If others were conducting in a certain way that I did not conduct in, that means they were wrong. You can see where this is going. It was only when I moved out and started to experience the world for what it was, both on the personal side and business side, that I began to realize all my ideologies of how I understood the world was completely off, and that I was the one that was wrong and lacked the experience. The irony. That realization hit me hard because I had to look at myself in the mirror and accept that I had so many flaws within me. The pain when you know you messed up is a difficult one to swallow. All this time when I thought I was right, I was actually wrong. That I was the one who lacked the knowledge, I was the one who lacked the experience, I was the one who lacked the understanding. Ego messed me up big time. It hindered my progress so far, and I was not about to let it ruin my whole life. If I wanted to progress and grow as an individual, I had to put my ego to the side and start learning from zero. Become the student of life and stay as a student of life. I had to foster the Shoshin mindset. Shoshin is a Japanese Zen term which means the beginner's mindset. It's a paradox in that the more you know about a subject, the more likely you will be closed-minded to further learning because you believe you are the expert. In his book Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, Shunryu Suzuki said, "In the beginner's mind there are many possibilities. In the expert's minds there are few." I had to encapsulate Shoshin. It had to become a lifestyle for me. I humbled myself, showed more humility, more gratefulness, and started to learn everything from zero. Whether it was in business, running a company, taking care of employees, relationships, health, you name it. I was a student and not the master. The way I was learning this and still learning this way was to go out there in the real world and experience it in real life. Not behind books or computers, going out there physically. I learned so much by going out there, talking to people, experiencing life in its raw flesh, than reading some theory in a book and not even applying it. My rate of growth grew extremely fast when I executed my actions. Putting my ego to the side and being a student allowed me to learn things I would never have learned otherwise. It opened my mind and my understanding of concepts, and connecting the dots became deeper and deeper. Things started to make more sense, and I was very aware not to stop learning, to keep pushing my mind to further enhancing my knowledge and the way the world worked. Now let me tell you something, it is a gift and curse when you keep learning and opening yourself up to new knowledge and wisdom. You see, the more you know, the more things can hurt you and the more you will feel pain because you now have a newfound knowledge on various aspects of life. There is a reason why they say ignorance is bliss. What you don't know can't hurt you. But the way I look at it is I'd rather get hurt, go through the pain to obtain the wisdom and knowledge so I can better understand and connect the dots further. Yes, sometimes it does feel lonely as most people are not deep enough in their subconscious, so they can't relate to you as much. That is the price you must be willing to pay. In saying that, you will attract the right people in your circle, the ones who are on your wavelength. They will come. It might take a bit longer as you will not gel with most people, but when you find them, you will know. Having that beginner's mindset will open your mind up to things you never even thought was possible. You must change your mindset of thinking you are always right. If you believe that you are always right and everyone else is wrong, how are you going to grow? How are you going to improve? How are you going to know your shortfalls and your mistakes? The moment you think you know it all, that's the moment your downfall begins. The moment you believe you are the expert, that's the moment when the underdog comes out of the shadows and destroys you into smithereens. Just like a lion waiting for his prey to make a bad move, and within a second the prey is dead and the lion devours it to the bone. you have no chance. The second lesson I learned is your relationship will suffer. I had a friend who always blamed others and never looked at himself. He always thought he was right and that was it. No accountability, no responsibility. I could not even debate with him. When I pointed out the mistakes he did in different situations, he would take it personal and get defensive. Before you know it, he would have a go at me and start bringing me down. It was toxic and very difficult to move forward. This was a constant thread in our friendship. I told him many times, look man, we are not perfect and will never be perfect, but this relationship will suffer in the long run if you don't start taking accountability for yourself. The relationship will not grow and it will become toxic. I made mistakes and will continue to make mistakes. If I'm not able to see those mistakes, you need to hold me accountable so I can learn from them. Be honest and upfront. I will not take it personally. If I made a mistake, I will own up and say it's my bad. But it can't just be one way. If you made mistakes and I tell you, it's not to bring you down or make you feel bad about yourself. I'm telling you because I want you to improve so you can become the best version of yourself. Unfortunately, he did not look at it that way. He thought I was controlling and shifting the blame onto him. The irony. In the end, I cut the friendship because it was not going anywhere and I could not keep going on like this. I gave him many chances, but in the end, you can't help someone who does not want to help themselves. There's nothing wrong with messing up and making mistakes. It's part of life. But the problem comes when you don't want to admit you made a mistake and carry on as if nothing happened. Because of your ego, you can't get yourself to accept, okay, I messed up. It's my bad. I made a mistake. I will learn from this and make sure that this never happens again. That's it. Finished. We don't need to talk about it no more. You admitted you made a mistake. We can move forward happily and we don't need to talk about it no more. Case closed. When you keep thinking you are right and the people around you are wrong, your relationship will suffer. No one wants to be around someone who thinks they know it all and has a big ego. It's not attractive and actually quite repulsive. A lot of people don't even realize that if they take accountability for their words and actions, their relationships will improve tenfold instantly. All it takes is holding yourself accountable and apologize when you messed up. It's taking responsibility for your actions and letting the other person know you were in the wrong. That's it. The third lesson I learned is you get complacent. When I started my education business, I was doing everything I can to make it work. I was cold calling, going face to face to over 40 institutions, Facebook advertising, printing out over 1,000 flyers to send out, giving my services for free, networking, and many more. At the beginning, when you're starting from zero, you have to wear all the hats of the business to make it work. It took me some time to finally reap the dividends from it, where the business started to grow and I was seeing some success. As the business was doing well and things were on the up, I could see myself believing that I'm great and I was winning. My inner ego started to get bigger, which was a byproduct of the business growing and doing well for itself. My self-worth was directly linked with the growth of the business. I remember this very vividly. When things were on the up, I took my eye off the ball and became complacent. My ego took over me, thinking I was this great guy who finally made it work. I didn't need to put more effort in. I was good. I was comfortable with how things were. But there lies in the huge mistake. My ego resulted in my complacency. My complacency resulted in the business not growing. The business not growing resulted in me thinking I'm not great anymore and going down in a negative spiral. Can you see the cycle? It's a vicious one. People were praising all the good work I was doing and I was drinking all those appraisals in my head. You need that to a certain extent so you know that you are on the right path and what you are doing is working and creating an impact. But you should not let it get to your head where you stop improving and innovating. I let the growth and success get to my head. As a result, I didn't feel the need to push or grow. I got too comfortable with where I was. I used to talk to God every day in my journey and now I hardly spoke to him. In a way, I forgot about him. It was a ticking time bomb for things to start going down, and they did. Revenue started to take a hit and the business was not growing as much as I would have liked. In fact, it was going in the opposite direction. This was the wake-up call I needed to realize I screwed up. I had to start again and remember why I started this. What was the genuine actual reason that I started this business in the first place? I had to go back to God and talk to him again and ask for his forgiveness. He gave me so much and I let him down. I failed him and he took it away from me because he saw I was not improving. I was not using the gift he gave me to help and reach more people. You see, God punishes you by giving everything you want to see if you can handle it, and if you can't handle it, he would take it away from you. I was humbled by this and I realized I'm a nobody. I'm just a body, that's all. I'm only here on this planet for a few years, and when I die, no one is going to care. After a few weeks, people will return to their normal lives and everything will be back to normal. That's the circle of life. Having this breakthrough and reflection taught me a very good lesson that I hold till this day. The moment you think you won is the moment you have lost, and everything from there will go downhill. But if you use winning as a feedback loop to keep improving so you can become the best version of what you are trying to build, then God will keep on giving. So, are you going to be the student of life or the master of life? The decision is yours to make. Everything starts from zero. When are you going to start? Peace.